This presentation is brought to you by the City of Greensboro's Economic Development and Business Support Office.
And we're going to talk this morning about the certification program in our office. It's shorthanded called HUB, H-U-B, but it stands for Historically Underutilized Businesses. And what we're going to cover is not only the HUB office itself and what we do, but also the statutory definition of what a HUB company is, whatever eligibility requirements you might need for certification. Also, we'll explain some of the services that we render and some of the benefits of being HUB certified. And also, we're going to talk about the actual application process. And part of that is also entering your business or company information into the North Carolina vendor system. It's called the Interactive Purchasing System, and it's located in the Division of Purchasing and Contract. I know a lot of you guys in business, so you want to sell your product or service to the state, and that's what we help companies do. We have a mission in our office to promote economic opportunities for historically underutilized businesses in state government contracting and in state government procurement, hoping that that will foster you guys in your growth and in your profitability of your companies. We certify you as a historically underutilized business. You may say, why do I need to be certified to do business with the state? Well, you do not need to be certified to do business with the state. You may get more opportunities to do business with the state through certification. We, as a state government policy, are trying to reach out to as many small businesses to promote the growth and profitability of small businesses. Again, we hope as an office to provide you guys with quality service, to be courteous to you, to be responsive to you, to be accessible to you. And we do not mind coming to Greensboro and going all over the state to try and make that happen. There is no fee, so yeah, put your minds at rest. There are some certification programs that do require a fee, but we do not. What we did about 3 or 4 years ago was in North Carolina was to create what we called a statewide uniform certification program. Sometimes you may see abbreviated as SWUC, S-W-U-C. And at that time, a few years ago, over past years, there were many local governments that had their own certification programs. Greensboro was one. Definitely a lot of the larger municipalities, but also some counties and just many different certification programs. So a lot of folks in business were finding that they had to be certified in many different places to do business in many different places. So over the years, our office, had always hoped that we'd be able to have a single kind of database source for a lot of the certifications that people were having to go all over the state to get. If you go into Greensboro's minority business office now, they'll say, okay, yes, we still have our program and we'll put you on our local list and we'll advocate for you locally, but we do want you to first go to the state, get your state certification, and then come back to us, and we obviously will be working with you locally. The question is that can she come to our office and get HUB, 8A, or SWUC? And keep in mind, HUB, our program is a state program, North Carolina program. And there are a lot of programs that are federally based. And at some point, I'll mention even a lot of you have heard about disadvantaged business status. And that's a program that's federal, but it is locally administered through the Department of Transportation in North Carolina. And a lot of our HUB companies are also DBE certified, and that's a good thing if you have a product or a service that DBE buys. That way you're sort of on state projects with us, you're on some federal projects with Department of Transportation, and so hopefully you're making money in both places. But our office is just the one certification, and that's the Historically Underutilized Business, or HUB certification. What we are then, to define it, is that our designation categories, if you are a minority person, and right now our statute defines minorities in North Carolina as a black person, Hispanic origin person, Asian American, or American Indian, those are the minority groups in our statute. That's one category. Then there's a category for female-owned companies. Then there's a category for socially and economically disadvantaged, and that gets to the point I just made about DBE. If you're a DBE certified company with the Department of Transportation, then we can use some of that paperwork and qualify you also as a hub certified company. If you're disabled, you can also have a certification. A lot of veterans think that that means we are running a disabled veterans program. We're not doing anything with veterans either, per se, but if you are disabled and you happen to be a veteran, we're concerned about the disability, not whether or not your veteran status. I generally will advise those folks to get hours if they qualify, and then go get whatever federal veteran certifications you can get. A person can have many certifications, and obviously the more you have, sometimes if you qualify for each and all of them, you have more bid opportunities coming your way, and that's a good thing. We certify a company if you are owned, operated, and controlled at least 51% by one of the minority category, one of the folks in the minority category that I just went over, or if you're a woman, 'cause that's the female category, or if you're disabled and socially economically disadvantaged, and that's under that, as I say, that DBE kind of status, or again, that nonprofit business enterprise. A lot of times folks think if I own the majority of this company, I'm the boss, period. And that's good sense, that's good capitalist thinking. Our certification, however, requires that not only if you're the owner of it, but we want you to be daily controlling and managing it on a daily basis. Now, obviously, with corporate structures, sometimes that doesn't mean that you are out there doing everything. That's true for a sole proprietor, perhaps, and maybe a tradesman. But we do acknowledge the fact they're corporations, and therefore you have structure and you have assigned folks different things. You've delegated authority in certain ways. However, we still would analyze your company structure and determine whether or not we think that that minority person, even though that minority person owns 51% or more, we're going to want to also assure ourselves that that minority person is really managing and controlling in some kind of way that we can understand and justify the certification. We have different documents for you to send to us, and we're again trying to get to the root of who's who and who's doing what. We may do site visits. We don't have a mandatory site visit program. The DBE program and some of the federal programs may be mandatory site visits. Our site visits are done discretionary. If we have questions that we just can't answer, we try phone interviews, and if we still aren't comfortable, we may do a site visit. Sometimes folks ask us to come and do a site visit, and that's fine as well, and we'll try to do that. The first step is, as I mentioned earlier, to register your company in this vendor link system. And in the time you're registering in vendor link, you're also able to register or to request certification as a hub company.